It would be easy to interpret Noah's flood as merely an exaggerated account. But I want to take a serious look at the actual text to see what it says. The Hebrew text has some important ambiguities. The word earth, eretz, is used in the Bible to mean the planet Earth, or, more often, a land, as in the phrase Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. The word for mountain, har, is used in the Bible for anything from a mountain to a hill. Therefore, the text could describe a flood that covered every mountain of the whole planet, or one that covered every hill in the whole land. The text itself tells us clearly what is meant by the phrase water over all the surface of the Eretz. That's in 8:9. Because this is the description after Noah got close enough to see the peaks of Ararat. At that point, it can't mean over all the mountains of the planet, and it must mean over all the hills of the land. The flood was awesome and devastating. A huge flood that completely destroyed that ancient civilization. Archaeologists in the 1930s found evidence of an amazingly widespread flood or floods before 3000 BC, which covered large areas around the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Mesopotamian plain covers 140,000 square miles. Genesis says the rain was followed by a strong wind, which blew the ark towards the Ararat Mountains. Then there was a wait of 3 months before the tops of the mountains became visible. The Hebrew text does not specify whether the ark grounded on the mountains or stopped moving among the mountains. The deciding factor between these two options is found in the account of the birds. The dove could find nowhere to perch because there was water over all the surface of the earth, so it returned. After a week, Noah sent the dove out again, and it returned with a freshly plucked olive leaf. Therefore, the text must mean that the ark came to rest among the mountains, in the vicinity of Ararat, from where Noah could see the mountain peaks start to appear as the ark drifted closer. This explains why the dove managed to reach land the second time, though it couldn't reach it during the previous week, even though the peaks had already been visible before the first flight. If the ark had been on the mountain, they would have been next to lots of dry land on the upper slopes. The text therefore tells us that this flood covered all the hills over a huge area, so all life would be killed. Noah, inspired by God, built a boat to save his family and breeding pairs of many animals. When the wind blew him close to the Ararat Mountains, a dove was able to reach the higher land that had not been flooded, where living trees were still growing. He then waited another 5 months as the waters abated before being able to get out of the ark. This concurs with the archaeological evidence that 140,000 square miles of the Tigris-Euphrates basin did experience a catastrophic flood within the time period consistent with Genesis. This is the account we find by a careful reading of the Genesis narrative itself. It describes an extraordinary event. Noah would have needed miraculous help from God to know that he should build an ark, and perhaps to get the animals into the ark. But the account itself doesn't tell us that the water covered the whole planet. However, we're so used to telling the story this way that we find it hard to take in the details of what the text actually says. God bless.